Skybox Sports News brings you the National Championship Showcase, where we're going to discuss the National Championship game. We're going to talk about the strengths and the weaknesses of each team at Skybox Sports News. We've been picking them up against the Vegas odds all year. Now I just wanted to give you folks an update on how we did on the bowls. All right, all the bowls. I went 19-12. Skybox Sports did good. 19-12 in those bowl games, making your money. Skybox Sports News are the best picks on the web. We do our research. We're splitting atoms. We're cracking the codes. We're digging deep into the recesses of the internet to find the information that we need to give our folks and our subscribers the best news possible. Now, we're getting ready to get into this national championship discussion here. One thing I want to point out about this national championship game. There's one team out there in the whole United States of America that is actually undefeated. That is UCF, University of Central Florida. They are undefeated. They won their Peach Bowl game against Auburn, who beat Alabama. You know, that is a travesty. This whole playoff system needs to be expanded to at least 8 to 10 teams so we can get a true national championship. Not a team who fought their hearts out, won every game they were scheduled, beat the big boys in the Peach Bowl, and still are not given the respect. So I just wanted to put in my vote here that, hey, you know what? We made a mistake this year. This UCF team should have been in there somewheres. Somewheres. It should have been in there. You know, that's why we need to expand this team, expand this league. Just because you come from a smaller conference does not mean you cannot play. All right, so we're going to go ahead and thank all of our sponsors, not sponsors, our subscribers. Very, very important. You are very important to me and Skybox Sports News and our team. We are delighted that each and every week people come and listen to our stuff, get our advice, and go out and hopefully make some dollars. We're excited about it. So let's now get to the National Championship game. Ba-da-ba-ba, ba-da-ba-da, boom, 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 boom. All right. National Championship team game is going to be played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. Yes, I did say Atlanta, Georgia. Yes, that is a beautiful, beautiful stadium. Look at that. Look at that stadium. Oh, beautiful. Tell you what, they even installed a bunch of solar panels. See them right there? Well, those solar panels are going to generate 1.6 million megawatts per year for that stadium. That's beautiful. It's one of the most complex stadiums they have to date, brand new. That roof opens up, beautiful. And yes, it's in Georgia. Last I checked, it's Georgia versus the Crimson Tide of Alabama. This is going to be a heck of a ball game. It's a home game for these boys. I'll tell you what, we got us a hell of a ball game. But in order to really understand how to pick this game, we've got to look at the stats. Okay? Alabama in this ball game is a 5.5-point favorite. I will give you my decision at the end as to whether or not they will cover. And that's what we're all about here at Skybox Sports News, picking against the Vegas spread. The Vegas spread is at 5.5 points, favored by Alabama. So let's take a look at the last game they played, all right? Georgia played up against Oklahoma. Hell of a ball game there. Total yards was 527 yards, 21 first downs. On third down, they were 3 for 11. Passing, they were 210 yards. Passing, they were 20 for 29. Yards per pass, 7.2. This is the big one right here. Rushing, 317 yards. Yards per rush, 9.3. Penalties, this is their Achilles heel right here. Six penalties for 39 yards. Time of possession was 27 and 0.2 seconds. 27 minutes, 2 seconds. Now what we want to do is we want to look at what Alabama did against the Crimson Tide. Not the Crimson Tide did against Clemson. Okay, different ball game here. All right, remember we had a double overtime game in the Georgia versus OU, and here we go. 261 yards total yards for the Alabama Crimson Tide. 16 first downs. Third downs, they were 8 for 17. Passing was 120 yards. Passing attempts were 16. They got completed 16 for 24. Yards per pass is 5 yards. Rushing 141, respectable. Yards per rush 3.4. Penalties 2 for 10 yards. And turnovers 1. Time of possession was 32 minutes and 11 seconds. These were two comparable teams. Look at I was somewhat taken aback by the bigger numbers that were shown by OU, Georgia and OU. Is OU's defense not that good? Is Clemson's defense better than OU? It could be. I don't know, but obviously it was. So we're going to go here and take a look at the whole season. That's where you need to really look at this thing. Okay, we're going to look at Georgia's whole season. Total passing yards, right? Total passing. There are 170 completions and 273 attempts for 2,421 yards. Completion percentage is 62%. They have 23 passing touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Rushing yards on the year, 625. Rushing attempts, rushing attempts, 625. And that's for 3,743 yards. The average rush is 6 yards a rush, and they had 41 big rushing touchdowns. Now let's look at Alabama. Okay, Alabama, total passing is 187 for 300 attempts, 187 completions, 300 attempts for 2,521 yards and 62% completion rate. 25 TDs and 2 interceptions. So right here, they're pretty much of a wash here a little bit here, right? Somewhat of a wash. What I mean by that is they're both 62% completion rates. Similar numbers, 170, 187. Not too much difference there as far as the actual passing completions. And the rushing numbers are where we got to look at now. I think this might be the deciding factor in this particular ball game. For Alabama, rushing is 573 attempts for 3,325 yards. Average rush is 5.8, and they have 36 big touchdowns. This is a heck of a ball game right here. You know, Alabama is favored by 5.5 big points. When I look at this math, and I do this math, and I look at what each team has done, I see that Georgia is the better running team. You know, 3,743 yards compared to 3,325 yards. And that Bama's the better passing team. 2,521 yards to 2,421 yards for Georgia. So this is going to come down to, I think, running the football. And when I look at the running of the football, I have to look at those numbers that Georgia are posting. Keep in mind, Georgia has not been to this big ball game in quite some time. And they're looking to win a national championship. They're playing in Georgia. Alabama's a very experienced team, coming off of a heck of a season. And anyway, I'm looking at this ball game, and when you see these two coaches, very similar. Actually, they used to be Georgia's coach came out of the Nick Saban crew, to come out here and coach in Georgia, and he's brought in success. I'm looking here. I think this is a possibility where Alabama, in a tightly fought game, will not cover the 5.5 points. I am going to take the Georgia Bulldogs at plus 5.5 points, and they will win the national championship, and it will reside in the running of the football. So we're going with Georgia for the national championship. Pick them, take the 5 points on the road. They're playing at home. Georgia's your man. Georgia's the dogs. Them Bulldogs are going to win, and they're going to pull this thing out. Take the Georgia Bulldogs. Skybox Sports News has said the word is out. 5.5 plus points. You're going to take those points, and we're going to run back to Athens. Georgia Bulldogs win this ball game, and they have a plus 5.5, and we're taking the dogs. End of story. Out.